on the Power Hour. So we'll be live streaming. I think as of right now, we're live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So hey, everybody, Shift Nation, welcome. It is a beautiful day today. Let me know you can see and hear and everything okay in the Q&A box right now, wherever you're at. Say hello and tell me, are you on holiday this week? Are you on holiday this week? Just put a yes or a no if you're on holiday, because I'd like to know. It's interesting. There is a general thought in the sales community, in the advisor community, of summer slumps, right? Have you ever bought into that? You know, hey, we're in a summer slump. Well, really, it's just I've learned through 15 years in the industry that it's really about your mindset and how you approach it. Because I know some teams that are absolutely smashing it right now, and I know others that are like, I'm off, nobody wants to buy. So Shift Nation, let me know, where are you at? Are you on holiday? Are you taking a break right now? All right, David, two Davids are saying no. Greg's like, nope. Carrie, Mike, wow, nobody's taking breaks. Look at that. Alicia says holiday-ish, right? Half and half. Kevin's working hard from Canada. Good to see you. Chris is checking in from New York City. Beautiful. Jerry's like, nope, not on holiday. Don Dave's from Durham. He's not on holiday either. All right, so you guys are smashing it through the summer. Ralph goes, who's got time for that? No break here for Kelly. All right, guys. Well, really excited to have you all here. And I know that Shift Nation, that you guys are out there making a difference. So thank you so much for everything you do. This is the Virtual Advisor Power. We're going to get things kicked off today. So quick agenda, because we got a lot to cover with our special guest today. We've got the power of delegation. I also have a tip I want to share with you on the science of following up with prospects. And I'm going to bring up my screen here in just a minute to share that with you. We got a really awesome update from our special guest today for being a force for good in the community. And of course, why everybody's here today is because of my dear good friend, Tom Hegna, industry legend, probably one of the most prolific speakers and one of the people that I've admired the most and learned from the most in the industry. I think he's probably, if there's like a 1,000,000-mile club, he's probably members of 5 of them, because the distance that this man has traveled around the world to help advisors succeed is second to none. The man's a legend, and we're so grateful to have him here today. We're going to talk about how you can manufacture 7-figure clients. So imagine being able to take somebody from $500,000 of assets to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million in assets, and do that in a way that positions you as the ultimate advisor. That's what we're going to talk about today. And of course, we got lots of cool gifts and prizes and giveaways, as we always love to do. Now, first tip I want to share with you is all about delegation. And in listening to some of your conversations that you're having with our team, many of you are opening up to the idea of delegating and elevating your practice. Delegating and elevating your practice. And it's not an easy thing to do. I myself struggled with this for many, many years, and getting out of the mindset of, if it's got to be done right, I'm the one that has to do it. So we've talked a lot about that in past power hours, but today I wanted to give you a resource and a challenge to help you delegate your first thing. Okay, so you guys ready for that resource? Are you ready to start delegating this summer so that perhaps by September, you give yourself maybe 5 hours a week back, or even an hour a week? If you guys are ready, Shift Nation, give me the word ready in the Q&A. I want to give you guys a very helpful resource that'll help you to do that. Awesome. Okay, you guys are ready. Let's get to it. So in the Facebook group, one of our resident expert coaches, Brianna Carlson, posted 2 fabulous resources that we here at the Advisors team use in order to find really great professionals. She didn't just post the resources, but she actually recorded a video to show you how to go about doing it. So in the chat right now, you should see a link. All right, you should see a link right now that will allow you to, there you go. Jasmine just dropped it in. That link, when you click on it, goes straight into our Facebook group, and you can watch and comment on that video and take advantage of that. All right, so that's the first gift we wanted to give you guys today, a really short mini training that allow you to do that. Now, before I get into what this is all about, I have a really cool hack I want to share with you guys about the science of follow-up. Now, how many of you have ever tried to automate following up on ghosted prospects or prospects that you had a meeting with, they came to a seminar, they came to a webinar, whatever, and you've tried to implement a system to follow up with them? Give me a yes in the Q&A if you've ever tried to do that. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to bring up something here, because I was thinking about it yesterday and I was like, I think this could really add value to you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hopefully we can do the screen share here. We just did it as a little test right prior to going live. And now let's see if we can still grab the iPad picture. Here we go. Let's see if we can do it. 1 second. The suspense is killing me. It may be that it doesn't work, and then I'm going to try the native drawing feature, which, yeah, I don't think it's going to work. It always works prior to it, right? Okay, no problem, folks. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share something else with you. And by the way, this is a really cool feature. If you're not really tech savvy, give me a yes if you could see my whiteboard here. I just drew a line. I just want to make sure you guys can see the whiteboard. Yeah, okay, awesome. All right, so here we go. I'm going to clear these drawings. So we're going to talk about following up and what is the right cadence. So this is a very simple formula. It's single channel. It's only about email. All right, but I'm going to give you the follow-up sequence that'll work for you, whether you've got a brand new lead that came into your system and they haven't responded to your calls or whatever, or this is somebody that maybe came to an event, or you had a great coffee chat with LinkedIn, and you just, you weren't able to get them again. So the formula is 1, 3, 7, and 11. Okay. Each of these represents a day. So the first day after you meet with somebody, you're going to want to send the first email to try to get them back on the next appointment. Now, that's if maybe you didn't do a great job, or at the last meeting, you forgot to set up an appointment for the next follow-up, which is always the preferred way, right? But if that didn't happen and you're just kind of new to this automation thing, email number 1 goes out. Then you send out email number 3. And usually email 3 is it's called a nudging email. And a nudging email is very simple. I'm actually going to type it out on the screen here. Hey, just nudging this back up to the top of the old inbox. And you could actually put a little, you could put a little emoji at the end of that, just so that it seems friendly and it doesn't seem threatening. All right, so that's just a nudging email. So the email itself will show up underneath here. So the first top here is what the first, that's actually what they read. But then underneath here, you have the content from the previous email. So content from email number 1 is here. So in email number 1, if you said, hey, enjoyed our chat, the next step is to set up this or to do this. Then you repeat that underneath a line here. Hey, just nudging this back up to the top of the old inbox. And you notice how that's just it's just a very friendly way. I've seen other people say nudging this back up the top of the email mountain, and then they have a smiley face or something like that. It just acknowledges that somebody's really busy. Then what you want to do is kind of give them a little bit of a break, and then you hit them up with another one on day 7, and then finally another one on day 11. All right, and the day 11 one could be like a breakup or a goodbye email. We'll talk a lot more about that in Advisors Max members. There is a whole training on email follow-ups that you can access in your private membership. But for now, I just wanted to give you that cadence, because we've been getting a lot of questions like, how many times should I follow up? So again, just to recap that real quick before we move on, it's day 1, day 3, day 7, and then day 11. And day 11 could be a breakup email. Now, some advisors that we've been coaching have gone all the way up to 16 follow-ups, like 16 different emails over a 3-month window. And they seem to get an uptick on the 14 to 16 because people just forget, they get busy, and then you hit them back up at the right time. So this is really effective for email, but you could also translate it into SMS as well. All right, I know you love my lovely handwriting when I use the mouse. Okay, so go ahead and take a screenshot of that and put it in your files and start using it this week. If you've got somebody that maybe ghosted you, or you've got some new leads in and you weren't able to automate it, a really cool tool, by the way, that you could use for this is followup.cc. That's a really great tool that will automate all of this for you and connects right into Gmail. And it's like $30 a month. So there's a really cool tool for you guys. All right. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that right now and hop back into the deck. So, we've got a lot of new people who are joining us today. Maybe this is the first time you join us for the Power Hour. If so, welcome. We're extremely honored that you would invest an hour with us. So you're probably wondering, what is this all about, right? Why are you guys giving away all this free training and not charging anything? Are you going to sell me something at the end of this, right? Well, the answer is no, because our Power Hour is our way of being a force for good in our industry. And being a force for good is our #1 value here at Advisorist. And what we do is provide rockstar training every Wednesday at 12 Eastern for insurance and financial professionals that you would have been happy to pay for, but you don't have to. And our company Advisorist, think of us like the masterclass for insurance and financial advisors. We don't generate leads. You can't buy leads from us. We're not an FMO or a GA. Those are fantastic companies for what they do. We've decided to niche ourselves to teach, coach, and train advisors to build their own appointment engines so that you can grow a lifestyle business on your terms. And just so you know, should I invest an hour on these every week? Part of our mission is to help 10,000 advisors to double their business and take off 100 days a year. After all, who wants to work and make all this money and have no time to enjoy it with the people that are important to you? So here's our track record of success. In the last 5 days, and this has been pretty consistent over the last year, we've helped advisors generate for themselves 258 appointments a week. Out of that's just 137 advisors in just one of our programs. That's 328 conversations a day that are being started with affluent professionals, people that you can meet and that you can use Tom Hegna's strategies very soon, we're going to talk about, to be able to turn them into millionaires. That's 14,000 meetings in the past 3 years. We have an unbeatable track record. And every single month, we're initiating 500,000 interactions and conversations digitally with the right prospects and teaching Shift Nation, which is everybody who attends here and believes in our ethos, to participate. So all of that said, we've helped to generate over $300 million in commissions and fees, and over 62 million leads have been generated from the experts that are in our training. So we're so honored you're here today. We wanted to give a quick shout out to a couple of our fans. So for those of you that are members of Advisorist Max, you know that every Tuesday, Lloyd Lofton shows up and teaches you advanced sales strategies for an hour every single Tuesday. And we got some really good feedback. We wanted to give a shout out to Ken, who's been an active member for a very long time and a loyal listener of the Power Hour. He said, I used this after class today. So he used a technique from Lloyd, who had asked for a particular product. I showed her what she wanted, then paused and asked, may I share an idea with you? She liked it, and we did 2 larger policies instead of only 1. That's amazing, Ken. 1 hour investment, twice the work, twice the payout, right? Good for you, Ken. And then Angela, always joy to have her in the groups. She says, I love this, catching the replay, missing everyone. Hope you had a wonderful 4th. So thank you, and a big shout out to both of you guys, Ken and Angela, for being part of Advisorist Max. All right, well, you know what time of the week this is. Wins of the week. We always love to celebrate the amazing things that insurance and financial advisors are doing on the front lines. And I know Shift Nation, you have been busy. So here's what you do. In the Q&A right now, tell us, what was the win of your last 7 days? Now, was it a personal win or a business win? Both are definitely welcome. We want to hear about your business wins. So did you get a new client? How did you get them? What was the AUM? What was the commissions that you earned? Please be specific, because we track the success of our Power Hour listeners. And I think the last time we ran our report, which was January, so we got to do it for the last 6 months, but just in the first 25 episodes of the Power Hour, listeners generated over $3 million in fees and commissions from what the things that they've learned on the Power Hour. So that gets us excited. That jazzes us up. So go ahead, put it in there, Shift Nation. What was the great thing that happened to you this past week? Could have been something personal, could have been something business-wise. So look at Gigi. So Gigi, one of our clients here, got paid $20,000 commission this week. Congratulations, Gigi. That is amazing. No doubt all the hard work you've been putting in. I know you've been coming to these Power Hours for a long time here. So congratulations on your hard work paying off. Carrie passed the SIE, going to take the 6 in a couple of weeks. Sending you good vibes and good study vibes there, Carrie. Let's see, Derek, win of the week. 2 more clients committed to follow me to my new firm. That's awesome, Derek. Good for you. No doubt you took really good care of them. Who else here? Look at Matthew chiming in here. Two LI policies with $10,000 in commission and $150,000 new in AUM. Nice work, Matt. Would love to know how you did that. Michelle, one of our Shift Accelerator program members, updated her profile and launched her first campaign. Congratulations. It always starts with the first step, right? And then Jesus is just so fired up that the Phoenix Suns got to the finals for the first time in 28 years. You got to give them a shout out, right? I know that's the favorite team of 2 of our coaches, Carmen and Darius Britt, who teach our YouTube program and how to generate $50,000 a month from YouTube, simple free YouTube videos. I know they must be in love with that right now. And then Rick, good for you, buddy. The Mayor of Money, former Mayor of Burlington, Ontario, also a graduate of the Shift Accelerator, finalized a $500,000 annual premium life policy, picked up the check and got the paperwork signed. Congratulations, Rick. That is awesome. And we love working with Rick because he's taking all his experience as a former mayor and then using that to reach out to influential business owners on LinkedIn and getting appointments on his calendar. Congrats to you, buddy. Wonderful stuff. Well, guys, I don't have a lot of time for much more wins of the week, but I wanted to say thank you to all of you that contributed, and we document these and we will be sharing results very, very soon. Okay, let's talk. I got a gift for everybody, and it has to do with finding and claiming a 7-figure niche. Have you ever heard the expression, there's riches in niches? There's riches in niches. And a big problem that a lot of advisors have is they're scared to commit to a niche, right? Have you ever felt that way? Give me a 1 in the Q&A if you've ever felt that way. You were scared to commit to a niche, right? Because it was like, oh no, if I commit to this niche, then what happens to all these other people? If I do business owners only, does that mean I can't work with doctors? Like, you know, and it really comes from a scarcity mindset. And there's a transition point that most successful advisors make sometime in their career. Usually happens around year 5, sometimes a little later in year 10. But whatever you are in your career, I want to give you a gift and a resource to help you make that transition so that you can experience riches in your niche. So we've got a free guide that we've created, how to find and claim a 7-figure niche. And for those of you that are regular on the Power, you know how we do this. We've got a link you can click on. So go ahead, Jasmine, can you drop that link, please? And there you go. You should be able to see my screen right now. And this is going to take you to our Advisorist LinkedIn post. All you got to do is comment the word niches, or if you want, you could put riches in there, okay? And we will rush this off. Now, if you want it even faster, if you want this faster, just put in your email address, okay? Just put in your email address in here, and we'll get that off to you a lot faster than just let me just see if I can tag Marcel in here. You're going to get contacted by Marcel on our team. He curates our social outlets to make sure that we get the right content to the right advisor. So I'm just going to bring this up. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going to just stop and reshare because sometimes it gets a little funny. All right. So you guys should see this right here. Go ahead and click on the link that Jasmine just dropped. It's going to take you here. And if you want the free guide, all you got to do is type in the word niches like that. Okay. And Marcel on our team, I've tagged him right here. We'll, and I'll just hit refresh to see how many fleet-footed members who are watching right now are on it. Yes, 52 of you have already claimed. Very, very good. So I want to see the first 100 show up really, really fast. All right. Don't comment in the Zoom. Don't comment on LinkedIn. Don't comment on YouTube. You want to go to this link that was just dropped in the channel. Okay. So that's for you guys, Shift Nation. That's our gift from us to you. And we hope that it helps you find your 7-figure niche. Because I got to tell you, once you commit to a niche, guys, it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That's something we love to do every single time we meet here at Advisorist. All right. So that brings us to our special class today. And I want to tell you just a little bit about, although some of you are very familiar with our friend Tom Hegna, some of you might be totally new and not heard. This is, James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. I would say Tom Hegna has been the hardest working man in the training industry for insurance and financial advisors for years. This man has traveled the world. You've probably seen him on multiple times on the MDRT stage, former vice president of New York Life, where he taught advisors how to generate billions in annuities. And through his travels worldwide and all over the country, his real passion is to help advisors make the sales process comfortable, easy, and intuitive. And we are so excited to have him on with us today. I'm going to invite my good friend Tom. Can you turn on your camera? And we're going to give you a big virtual round of applause, brother, because we are so excited to have you here as part of Shift Nation, Tom.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Somebody else let me share my video. It's telling me I can't start it right now.
Oh, you know what? Let's fix that. Can you try that right now?
I'll do it right now. There I am.
Oh man, there he is.
All right.
All right. So good to see you, Tom. Thanks so much for being here today. We want to have a conversation today about how to manufacture 7-figure clients. And by the way, Tom has a special gift for everybody. Hang around all the way to the end. There's something special that Tom and I are going to do. So just stick around. But before we dig into this, Tom, you heard us talk a little bit earlier about being a force for good. And I know for you personally, you've got an amazing stage presence and a brand, but that's something that's also really important for you. So we wanted to celebrate a little bit with you and hear some of the things that are passionate and close to your heart. What are some of the things you've engaged in to be a force for good, like in your personal life?
Yeah, so on the screen, a Smile Train, those pictures just tug at my heart. And I've been a Premier Circle with Smile Train for many years. I was feeding veterans at Manor House for a number of years, and then we moved. But I continue to support the Wounded Warrior Project, and then also Tunnel to Towers, because they're doing great things for first responders, military people. If a soldier gets killed, they help get a house for the family and things like that. And I just think, if it weren't for those soldiers, and I spent 22 years U.S. Army, okay, but if it weren't for the soldiers that are out there every day willing to defend this country, we wouldn't have what we have today.
Wow. It's not surprising to me that you would have something like the Smile Train, because I know you brought a lot of smiles to advisors, to retirees. You had a PBS special called Don't Worry, Retire Happy, where you taught retirees. You've taught millions of retirees really through your specials on how to not have to worry about that. And I know you and I have collaborated on many, many projects to bring that message. So thank you so much. Now, Tom, this idea, I'm just going to stop the share for a second and we'll just have this conversation here. And by the way, Shift Nation, we want to make you feel comfortable here. So if you've got a question for Tom as well as we go through this, if we have time, we'll leave some time at the end because we want to make sure you guys get a voice here as well. Tom, you've been known so much for Don't Worry, Retire Happy. The way that you position and break the myths that a lot of people have about different products. But this is a new idea that's being associated with you. And I remember you and I talking about this, privately, maybe 6 months ago. But tell us a little bit, why is this message of how to manufacture 7-figure clients, why is this message so relevant today? And why are you passionate about it?
Well, Jeremiah, it actually goes back almost 30 years for me. And I'll apologize if my internet is bad. There was some construction outside the community. They cut a cable and the whole community is without internet. So I'm on my phone. So if something goes bad, I can turn my camera off or whatever. But this really started 30 years ago when I was an agent, and people would say, Tom, what do you do for a living? You know, and I'd be at a party or I'd be at a function. What do you do for a living? And my answer was, I help create millionaires and multimillionaires. You tell me how many million you want, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get there. And so when I was researching this new presentation for another company, they wanted one on financial wellness. Well, financial wellness sounds kind of boring. So then I turned it into who wants to be a millionaire, and now how to help your clients become millionaires. And so that's really the focus of this, is helping clients become wealthy. And by the way, the advisors watching this can become wealthy along the way as well.
That's amazing. And you know what's just a takeaway, what Tom just dropped is an amazing, what we call USP in marketing, unique sales proposition. I create millionaires. That's something that you can take away right now and be able to tell people I create millionaires, because by the time we're done teaching and training you with this conversation, you're going to have a concept of how you can do this as an advisor. And if you've been struggling on what to tell people, you know, thank you so much. That is a golden nugget, guys. So amazing stuff. Okay. So you also told me that there's like a psychological element to this idea of helping clients become millionaires. I'm a big student of psychology, neuroscience. So I'm really curious. Can you kind of go into a little more about that?
Yeah, so I've only learned this, probably 30 years after the fact, but there was a psychological element to it, because when I said, I help create millionaires and multimillionaires, how many million do you want? I'll show you what you need to do to get there. All of a sudden now, I'm not selling life insurance, annuities, long-term care insurance, mutual funds. I'm on their team. I'm now trying to help them. Now we're working together to become wealthy. So there's that psychological, it breaks down the barrier of me trying to push a product or trying to sell something to them. No. I'm helping them become wealthy, and I'm going to show them different tools that they can use along the way. But that's the cycle. Instead of me trying to sell something, now I'm trying to help them become wealthy. It's right away. It's what's in it for them. It's not about me at all. I don't care about me. It's about them. And that is a powerful psychological element to it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, because when people feel that you're on the same side of the table as them, it's not a me versus you, or who's going to be more clever in this process. It's really an us. How do we do this together? And so I love that distinction. I can only imagine how many extra doors that will open up for advisors who truly embrace this. You've talked about 3 phases of wealth. And for those of you that have been following Tom for his amazing career, we got some great comments coming in. Somebody just said, Tom, the human energy drink. I love it. Is that something that you endorse, this idea of get rich quick? Because a lot of people think, who wants to be a millionaire? It's people think of that instant, I showed up for an hour, an hour later, I was a millionaire.
Well, look, I mean, there are some people who can get rich quick, but that's not the way most people get rich. You get rich slow. There's really 3 things. There's how much money can you put away? How much time do you have? And what rate of return can you get? That's the deal. Now, could you buy a lottery ticket and become a millionaire overnight? Yes, 1 out of 252 million people can do that. But that's not the way that most people get rich. Most people get rich slowly over time. They're disciplined. They have a plan, and that's what I talk about. I mean, I can't stop people from getting rich quick, but the more people have gone broke trying to get rich quick than ever got rich.
Yeah, let's not even talk about the lottery winners who were not ready for the wealth, and they didn't know how to handle it. And that shift was never made, of gradual accumulation and so forth. Is it even realistic, Tom? Like, I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate. Is it even realistic? So I'm thinking about, we had 3,000 plus people signed up today. All are financial and insurance advisors who care about their clients. They want their best interests, but it sounds a little bombastic to say, hey, I can turn every client into millionaires. Like, is it even realistic that most Americans, or we got a lot of Canadians here too, that most Americans or even Canadians can really become millionaires? Is that a realistic thing?
The realistic thing is that almost all Americans and Canadians will make millions of dollars in their career. I'll just give you an example. If your income is $50,000 a year over a 40-year career, and that's age 25 to 65, that's a normal 40-year career, you're going to earn $3.7 million. Over a 50-year career, so let's say you said, okay, I'm going to start at 20 and retire at 70, you're going to have $5.8 million. That's at $50,000 a year. Now, if you can get to 100,000, that could be 7 million, 11 million. If you get to 250,000, it's 18 million, 28 million. But everybody who's on this show today watching is going to make millions of dollars. That's not the point, Jeremiah. Everybody's going to make millions. It's not how much you make, it's how much are you going to keep and what are you going to do with that? And that's where I can help people. So yes, I believe it is very, very reasonable that almost all Americans and Canadians can become millionaires, and they should. But unfortunately, many people don't have the discipline to do it. But I try to help bring some of that discipline to the table.
Yeah, the adage of if it is to be, it's up to me.
That's correct.
Comes to mind. And it's so true. It's really about personal discipline. And, you know, I want to just go a little bit off into talking about a demographic of millennials. You and I had a conversation about millennials and this huge transfer of wealth. And your message that you gave during the virtual financial advisor summit that we did was like, it blew my mind. And the comments coming in from advisors who were watching was like, my kids need to hear this. My grandkids need to hear this information because they're just not ready. How does this idea of being a millionaire fit in with this huge, you know, next generation that's coming up, that's going to be inheriting a ton of wealth and has been poorly prepared and maybe has been raised on crypto and meme stocks, right, in order to like self-servicing? Where does that all fit in together from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it gets to be very complicated, but you know, on the meme stocks and the crypto, you know, I'm not against those things. The problem is many of these millennials are putting all their money there. No, that's not investing. That's speculation, and I'm not against speculation. I think you should have 1 to 5% of your portfolio in speculative things, because if they do go to the moon, you know, if AMC goes to the moon, yeah, you can make a lot of money. But if AMC goes down to zero, you'll lose everything if that's all your money. So you can't do that. So you've got to be balanced. And that's the one thing I think millennials have to learn, this balancing, and they'll learn it one way or another. Trust me, because you know, all this stuff is not going to end well. They will learn some lessons, but I'm trying to prevent some of the pain. And again, I'm not against meme stocks. I'm not against crypto, but in the right place at the right time. And so really it has to do with balance and discipline and doing things regularly and all the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you elaborating that. By the way, folks, if you are looking for financial education for your children, Tom has some amazing resources at tomhegna.com that you could be using and having those as family conversations, because I know that, you know, having seen the effects of not learning money matters early on, what that can do. This is just like sometimes having the third party there, like the guy who's not your mom and dad, tell you things about money, is sometimes a little more powerful than you saying, hey, you really need to be thinking about this. So thanks for all you do there, Tom. Let's talk a little bit more about this idea of becoming the millionaire, right? In the actual presentation and the special class we're going to talk about later, you're going to show us 3 keys to building wealth. So whenever I think of 3 keys and I think about, you know, the concept of learning, I'm always passionate about keeping things really simple so people get it. So how complicated, you know, on the spectrum are these keys?
They're going to be very simple, and I'm going to go into detail, but you know, I'm going to show people how to make more money, because that is what's so important. You know, if you're making 50,000, that's great, but why don't you want to make 80,000 or 100,000 or 200,000? And the more money you make, the quicker you can become wealthy. And I'm going to show numerous ways, and that's all I do with financial advisors every day, is how to show them how to make more money. I've helped thousands of advisors become millionaires and multimillionaires themselves, but this is going to be to help show your clients how they can make more money. And then having spending discipline. You know, I'm going to give many techniques on how to have spending discipline and why we don't need all the crap that people are buying. And that's one of the reasons many people don't become millionaires. They're just dumb with money. And we're going to talk about that. And then we got to talk about investing into appreciating assets instead of depreciating assets. And I'm going to go into detail on that. And so these are very simple things. Everything I do, I use the rule of 6. It has to be so easy a 6-year-old understands what I'm saying. So So I don't ever get into very complicated things. These are simple practices, but if you can do them every single day, I always say, if you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves, and I mean, my family's heard me say that a million times. I say, that's not a wise use of the money. Let's, and sometimes you get called cheap or you get called this and that, but part of it is having discipline to not waste money. I don't mind spending money, and I don't mind buying things that are valuable or value, but I hate wasting money. And I see too many people wasting way too much money. And we're going to talk about that in that presentation.
I'm going to be looking forward especially to that one, because I know that I'm of the same ethos. I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I was wearing a sweater. I'm like, I've had this sweater for I don't know how many years. Like, I don't go out and buy fancy clothes, and I kind of keep a pretty frugal mindset. Here at Advisors, we also use the profit first methodology, which is a way of growing your company so that you care for profits so you can use them. So I'm really, like, you and I are totally aligned on investing in things that appreciate instead of depreciate. And to be honest, Tom, I think, and feel free to comment on this, this is my observation. I think that, we saw the greed generation from the 80s. It was all about me. And then people realized how empty that was in the 90s. There was this big return to just people. The year 2000 brought a lot of hope with technology. And then we got overwhelmed in the 2010s. And now in the 2020s, I'm seeing that the old definition of success is not what people used to be. It used to be, Lambos and Rolexes, but now it's having the time to do the things you want to do and enough of the money so that you can do those things. And I think people have seen enough people burn out, crash and burn, to see that that was a lie that was pitched and marketed so many times, but that the real objective is lifestyle, right? Which I think fits nicely with Don't Worry, Retire Happy. Who wants to be retired and worry?
Right. And that's what I'm living now. See, I've been disciplined, and I've saved, and I've accumulated millions, and now I am living my life. Because another thing I tell people is, you don't get to take any of it with you. You're not getting any younger. You don't get to take any with you. What are you trying to be, the richest guy in the cemetery? And so I want to spend my money, and that's I've spent almost my entire career, Jeremiah, on protecting wealth and distributing wealth. This is my first foray into building wealth. So this is how I'm helping millennials build the wealth. And I've had millennials kind of make fun of me. Okay, boomer, it's only $1 million. A million isn't like what it used to be. I go, exactly. You're going to need multiple millions, but the first million is the hardest. And I'll help you get the first million.
Oh, I think we lost Tom's internet. Oh, all right. So while we wait for Tom to come back, folks, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. What has resonated with you, Shift Nation, in what we've covered so far? What's resonated with you so far? Give us a thought in the Q&A, because Tom's really talking about some concepts here that are super important. And I'm just curious, from your perspective, what are you seeing? What have you appreciated from what Tom has shared so far? And then what I'm going to do while you guys do that, give me a second. I'm going to try to call him. But Shift Nation, let's just take a quick, quiet minute, kind of center in, and write your comments in, and I'll go check on our man Tom. Yeah, his internet dropped, so he's going to try to call in, and I'm going to see if maybe we can continue this through audio. So just give me a second, everybody. Put your Q&A right in there. Hey, tech happens, right? So we'll be right back.
Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine, Tom. Sorry, I think your internet cut out, right?
Yeah, the internet dropped again. So I'll do it right here on my phone, and we'll just do audio if that's okay for the rest of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the last thing we heard, Tom, was you were talking about how millennials say $1 million doesn't last as long. You say, yeah, that's why I'm going to help you make the first million. And then after that, it cut off. So do you want to kind of pick back up there?
So they say $1 million's not enough, and I agree, it's not enough for millennials, but you got to make your first million, and the first million is the hardest million, and that's what I can help people do is make that first million. That's the hardest million to make. After that, the second and third and fifth and eighth $1 million comes a lot faster and easier, but the first million is the toughest.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Tom, is it cool? I just want to read some of the comments that have been coming in. I think it's I asked Shift Nation, can you tell us what have been your aha moments? So I think this is great because you guys get this, and I'm so grateful to have you here. So so Ursula was saying, for example, I know Tom was referring to buying like a used car to avoid fees, and she was able to save like $15,000 and get cheaper insurance. So decisions and mindsets like that are exactly what you're talking about. Lynn says, I don't want to be the richest woman in the cemetery.
Yeah.
Well said, Lynn. Michael goes, invest, don't speculate. Very good. Holland appreciates that you said living within the means. Well stated. Pam loved the unique sales proposition to get people's attention. So this was about I help create millionaires. Derek liked discipline is important. Building wealth isn't sexy, but a bit on the boring side. So you have to, make being disciplined sexy, and that's what we're really going to be talking about in the special gift we have for everybody coming up. David says, follow your passions and be in business to help others. He doesn't aspire to be the richest person in the seminary. Yeah, cemetery. Yeah, this is, or seminary, right? Too, right? You could be giving your life to God, and you want to make sure that you're living your best life ever. So thank you guys. I don't have time to read all of these. We have like over 100 came in, I think. But Tom, let's keep going here. One of the things so going back to actually one of the first things we did on the Power Hour today was the riches in niches. And I know you and I are huge advocates of that idea. But when you and I look at this from a perspective of the advisor, do you recommend that an advisor be a generalist, like a jack of all trades? I'm holistic. That's a great term advisors like to throw around these days. I'm a holistic advisor. Or do you think that they should be a specialist, like an expert in a specific area? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think you can be a holistic advisor that specializes in a certain area. Look, when I was a brand new agent, I was a generalist. If somebody could breathe and spell the name MetLife, because at the time I was with MetLife and they could write the name MetLife on a check, I drove 50 miles to go pick up that check. I mean, and when you're brand new in the business, you're just trying to survive. But after 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, you kind of settle into an area that you're really comfortable with. Maybe you like working with dentists or chiropractors, or I worked with seniors in Arizona, and I really focused on helping them reduce or eliminate taxes on their Social Security benefits. And by doing that, I sold a lot of life insurance, annuities, and long-term care insurance and other stuff. So, but there are riches and niches, and so the wealthiest people typically are those who are the experts in a certain area. Like I could have come out as been a sales trainer. That's what I could have done, but there's a million sales trainers, but I focused on annuities, life insurance, and long-term care insurance, and the words and the language and retirement income. And that's really been my specialty. And I'm going to talk in our class, I'm going to talk about these 4 circles that anybody can find their purpose of what they should be doing in life. If they find the intersection of the 4 circles that I'm going to share in our presentation, that they can find their true purpose in life. Like I believe I'm doing exactly what I was meant to do. I was created to do what I'm doing right now. But there's so many people who go, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I don't know. I'm adrift. I'm not, and I can help dial that in that presentation that we're going to give.
Yeah, that's great. And that's why we created the guide. And by the way, I just noticed 177 of you so far have requested the guide. So there's still a lot more. So if you want that guide, make sure you hop over to that LinkedIn thing, and using that with Tom's class is going to be epic, because you guys will get a nice framework to be able to use before you show up. So when you show up for what we're going to do with Tom, which is something really, really special, and we're really excited to be the first to get behind it, you guys will be absolutely ready. So make sure you grab that PDF if you haven't already. Let's talk about opportunity cost, switching gears. What is the opportunity cost, and why does this have an impact on a client's wealth? So now we're going to get a little more advanced on how people think about opportunity cost with people with money.
Well, opportunity cost is everything, Jeremiah. It's if you spend money today on something, what would that money be worth if you didn't spend that today in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? So, or what else could you have bought with that if you didn't buy that handbag? What could you have bought with this money? That's opportunity cost. It's what could you have done with the money if you didn't do that? And I use a specific example. I think you put it in the teaser in the email on how $35,000 can be worth 1.8 million. And it sounds, oh, that's crazy. Well, I'll give an example in our presentation that we're going to give next week of somebody who made a decision. They had a choice to buy something that was 65,000 or something that was 30,000, very similar in quality, but they went with the lower priced one and they invested that 35,000. And if they could get 8%, which isn't unreasonable over a 50-year period of time, so 20 to 70, that's worth 1.8 million. And that's just one little example. And I'm going to talk a lot about cars and RVs and jet skis and all that stuff and, boats and all that stuff, because there's an opportunity cost whenever we put our money towards those things.
I love it. I can't wait to dive into that piece, because what's rich about, this class that we're going to do is it's all about the practical implementation of these ideas, and to be able to give clients a specific idea that they can be like, I got that, like, I understand, and then move it along. It just goes back to your concept of, this can't be more complicated than a 6-year-old, right? Like, it really has to be understood at a 6-year-old level. And by the way, for those of you who have been attending the Power Hours ever since we started, many episodes ago in copywriting, we talked about the 5th grade rule. And the 5th grade rule is never write a piece of copy that a 5th grader will not understand. And, initially when some advisors hear that, they're like, forget all that. I talk about, return on investment and stock market, and all this kind of stuff. And it's so hard to get out of that mindset of using technical terms that most advisors really struggle. So I'm really grateful, Tom, that you brought and you highlighted that, because it goes right in line with what we've been teaching. Write copy at the 5th grade level, and you will see your conversions soar. Very good. Let's keep going here. I think you're going to cover some of the most common obstacles too to becoming wealthy. But what do you think is an obstacle that most people totally miss when it comes to achieving wealth?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a number of obstacles, but one of the biggest ones, and people don't even think about it, is divorce. Divorce wipes out more wealth than anything else I can think of. And I mean, we can laugh about it and everything. And, but I have a friend of mine who had millions of dollars in his 40s. He ended up getting 3 divorces. So let's say he had $2 million at the end of the first divorce, there's $1 million. At the end of the second divorce, there's $500,000. At the end of the third divorce, there's $250,000. So he went from having millions to $250,000. Now he's looking at places in Nicaragua and Guatemala. He's trying to find places that he can afford to retire. And so, I'll talk a lot of obstacles, planning and all this other stuff. But I mean, divorce is one thing. That picking your life partner is one of the most important decisions of your life. And I don't think we communicate that to our kids and our grandkids nearly enough.
Oh boy, that is a topic I am extremely passionate about, having done marriage counseling for many years and having found a bride that we haven't had an argument in 12 years, although being married in 20. I'm just kidding. No, we've never had an argument, and choosing the right partner is so critical. So I'm really grateful we're going to talk about that. Now, Tom, we've talked, you're also an economist. You've been interviewed on CNN and Forbes, and every year you put out an economic review on YouTube, which you guys should be checking out, by the way, on Tom Hegna's YouTube channel. Just look him up, subscribe, and watch all his videos. He always gives some really great economic updates. So if you look, since 1924, right, the market has averaged about 12% a year, but the average investor has only done about 2%. So how is that even possible that the market's done 12, but the average investor's done 2?
Because of emotions. They let their emotions get involved. When everybody's buying Bitcoin, they're rushing and they buy Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin goes down and they go, whoa, how can I be so stupid? And then they sell. And then they say, oh, I'm going to buy AMC. So they buy AMC, and then AMC goes up, and then all of a sudden it goes down, and they go, oh, I couldn't be so more stupid. And then they sell. And that's why, because people You know, the way you make money in the market is you buy low and you sell high. Most people buy high and they sell low, and that's why they don't make money. And they do dumb things like put all their money into Dogecoin or all their money into AMC or all their money into GME. You don't do that, okay? You got to diversify your investments. I'm not against any one of those places. I'm not against any of them, but in their right position and in the right amount. And that's what I think. So many people just kind of wing it. And I don't believe that retirement planning is a do-it-yourself project. I mean, you don't do your own dental work in your garage. And I don't think clients ought to be doing their own retirement planning because they make too many mistakes and they have way too many blind spots.
That's a great visual. So, talking about crypto, right? Like we've talked, you and I have had a lot of conversations about crypto. A lot of people were surprised about your stance. Has that stance changed over the last couple of months because the crypto, specifically Bitcoin has stalled?
Yeah, no, it hasn't. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, I mean, I've always spent my whole career talking about guarantees and guaranteed this and guaranteed this. And then I put out a positive thing on Bitcoin about 3 months ago. And people said, oh, his Facebook got hacked. And he would never say anything like that. And I said, no, I mean, I probably have 65% of my portfolio guaranteed in life insurance and annuities, but that gives me the license then to take some risk with my other money. And I think I told you I was the biggest Bitcoin non-believer there was until I watched a guy in CNBC a few years ago lay out a case that was believable to me, a non-believer of Bitcoin, that Bitcoin could hit $500,000 or $1 million of Bitcoin. And all he said is he's recommending to his wealthy clients that they put 1% of their portfolio into Bitcoin. And I said, 1%? I could do that. I mean, my portfolio goes up and down more than 1% a day. If I lost 1%, it's not going to wreck my life. But if that 1% goes to $1 million of Bitcoin, that could sure help my life. And that's what I did. And I got into Bitcoin back when it was like $3,000 of Bitcoin. And of course, as you know, went up to 60 something thousand, and then it's been down in the 30s and whatever. But I didn't buy it for overnight. I bought it for a 5-year, 10-year play. And I think in 5 or 10 years, I'm going to be fine. But for all the people who think it's only about Bitcoin or crypto, just remember the biggest threat to Bitcoin, I believe, is a new Bitcoin that's better. And then people go, oh man, this thing does everything that does plus better. And then the Bitcoin drops and then this other thing goes up. So I'm still not going to put all my money in any one thing. And I would tell people, you got to be careful. Crypto is speculation. Meme stocks is speculation. So that's up for a 1 to 5% of your portfolio. And if you do that, I'm not against it. If you're putting 80% of your money into anything, I'm going to probably tell you that's dumb.
I'm glad you got in at a good time. And by the way, and we actually had a 2-hour conversation about this we have a private crypto mastermind for members. And those of you that are in there, we had a really great conversation about this with our resident crypto expert, Jeff Neighbors, last Friday. And that is exactly what he talked about. And he got into crypto in 2013, which, definitely earlier than both of us got into it. And he's like, the amount of people that still don't have Bitcoin is so huge. It's such an early concept that it's, even if you're in now at, I don't know what the price is today, $35,000, $36,000 per Bitcoin. But even if you get in now, you're still going to be way ahead of the game. So really, really cool stuff. And I really see how that comes together in, helping to manufacture millionaires. So in this presentation that we're going to be doing next week, you're going to share 15 closing tips on how to become wealthy. Can you maybe share one of those tips that people might not expect? Oh, you still there, Tom? Hello? Oh, we lost Tom's connection. All right, he's going to jump back in. I'll look out for him. Let me head over to the Q&A right now. And let's just kind of share some of the other wins here. Let's see. Okay, so Javier commented, love what you said about the shift in our definition of success. It's about having the ability to do what you want, when you want, for as long as you need to. Absolutely, Javier. Thanks for chiming in on that. That's real lifestyle, right? Who wants to work so hard and not have anything to show for it, or be burnt out, or sacrifice your marriage, relationship with your kids, your family on the altar of money? Pretty sad existence. All right, let's keep going. Aldo, what Aldo appreciated was the concept of unretirement is real. Retired, then people have to unretire and get more income. Worry-free retirement lifestyle is critical. Well said, Aldo. Appreciate that. Kurt, don't get your financial advice from Twitter. Long-term investing is not sexy, but it is proven. Yes, very good. Thank you for that one. Lynn, if time and lifestyle is the objective, then is the message "I help create millionaires" congruent with this? That's a good question. So I'm going to look at this strictly from a marketing standpoint, right? What, you could, when you say that to most people, let me say this. If you're on this call today and you resonate with what I said, you are in the minority. Because just look at what the rest of the world is doing, right? The rest of the world chases money at the expense of their health, at the expense of wellness, at the expense of friends, at the expense of everything. And what's kind of sad is I have many Deca millionaire friends, and some of them come to me for advice, and I talk to them. And one of the things I've noticed is that there's an ancient proverb straight out of the scriptures that says, "A mere lover of silver is never satisfied with silver." So this is a timeless principle that will never go away, because marketers continue to get smarter and smarter, and they continue to seduce people to buy more. Now, wherever you are in the stand of that statement is fine. But if you want to use that statement in a way that is congruent for yourself, if you want to be congruent with the other people feel, say, "I help create millionaires," you're going to grab them. But if you want it to be congruent for yourself, "I help create financial and time millionaires," is what I would create. Because really, you think about it, there's some people, they don't have $1 million, but they live a millionaire lifestyle because they can do what they want, when they want, with who they want, how they want. And isn't that really what we just talked about earlier, where I think Aldo made that comment? So Lynn, thanks for that comment. Very insightful. Kurt, Michael Kitsis, one of our other friends, made great points during the summit about how our industry is broken because it drives many new advisors to find anyone who can fog a mirror to survive. Yeah, absolutely. We don't believe in that here at Advisors. We believe in niching yourself. And that could be niching in a product, in a philosophy, in a system, or in a target demographic. So thank you for that. It's cheaper to keep her, says Ursula. Thank you. Very good. All right. So Amanda's asking for the LinkedIn link. Maybe Jazz, you can hop in there. Barber wants it as well. And then Stacy, the presentation on the clients. Yeah. So that, unfortunately, folks, I'm sorry that Tom lost his internet, but hey, that's technology, right? That happens. But the good news is that Tom and I are going to show up next week, not during the power hour. This is a special time. We're gonna do an exclusive presentation where it's only going to be Tom, and he's going to release this brand new presentation, how to manufacture seven-figure clients. So if that presentation is something that you think will help you succeed, go ahead and register right now. Now in the chat, Jasmine just dropped. Oh, Jasmine, could you go ahead and drop the link from Tim, please? We're going to do something really cool for all the early birds who register. Oh, I can't see. There we go. Okay, there we go. So go ahead and click on that link. Let's go to this page together, everybody. I'll show you what it looks like so you know you're at the right spot. Okay, so there you go. You should see this page when you click on the link. And then here's the theme, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Here's us hosting it, so you know you're at the right spot. July 15th, that's next week at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, mark that down in your calendar, July 15th, 10 a.m. Eastern. You're going to put your just basic information. You got to put your email in twice and then just hit register. And Tom and I will be there to deliver the goods on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire session. So if you guys are in, click on the link, register right now. We're going to do some really cool stuff for early birds, and make sure that you get that. Okay. All right, guys. Well, listen, we covered a lot today, right? We talked about finding a virtual assistant, 2 places where you can go to delegate and elevate in your business. I gave you a 4-step strategy, a little technique with timing to automate your follow-ups, as well as a free tool that'll actually almost free tool, $30 a month, right, to do it. And then we had a wonderful conversation with Tom. Thank you so much, guys, for being part of Shift Nation. We'll see you in the Facebook group if you guys want to keep the conversation going. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if we added value today, because every time we go live, we want to make sure you guys don't miss it. Thanks so much from the entire team here at Advisorist from all around the world. We appreciate you guys. We thank you for what you do. We'll see you next week on the Virtual Advisor Power Hour. Bye for now, everybody.